Today is Sunday, August 31st, 2014, and we are here at the Roots Family Picnic, the 42nd annual picnic with the Roots Voices Project. And we're here collecting stories that are to become an archive with the Black Heritage Society of Washington State. And I'm here today with Andrian. Andrian, will you please give your full name?
My name is Andrian Sherman, and I'm a resident of Washington State for 14 years.
Awesome. Well, that qualifies you for this interview. So I overheard you with a conversation with one of the videographers here, and I'd like you to tell us on film, give us a little bit of your story about being here in Washington State.
I came to Washington State in 2001 via Louisiana, and I actually came up here to work on the fishing boats to get $40,000 to open up a business for collateral for a business down south in Louisiana, a paralegal business that would help people who were falsely convicted have their cases reviewed and possibly overturned, and where they can get the right sentences and the right charge actually that the crimes consist of. That was in 2001, and then my plans were interrupted by way of a false arrest and false conviction for the crime of stabbing a Caucasian man in the U district that never took place. As a result of that, I was told I would have to do 11 years in prison if I didn't if I signed forms saying I did the crime. Okay, and I did 11 years because I refused to sign the document. I'm out now, and I've since had a polygraph test done by a police officer who's an active police officer right now, and he cleared me from it both, not only from a physical polygraph, but also from his Advanced Air Force One polygraph test or something like that they call it. And right now I'm in the midst of working with different individuals to help me overturn that case. But this is something that has affected all African American men and possibly women and so forth across the nation for being arrested for false crimes that they haven't done and being found guilty of it, and then being forced later on by way of reasoning, giving them less time if they admit to the crime anyway. I didn't want to feed into that pattern, and so I denied it, and here we are today, 11 years later. I've talked to different legislators and different people in the government, the mayor, the governor, Inslee and Murray, and although they say there's nothing that they can do about it, I beg to differ on that regarding the matter. But this is something that I've done the research on. It doesn't just affect African Americans, it does affect also Caucasian Americans as well. There's over 100,000 false convictions done every year in America across the nation.
See, that's a huge statistic. I didn't know that, and I mean that's a horrific story more beyond a story. I mean, you were living it. I mean, it was your life where you admitted to a crime that you felt or you knew you did commit.
Well, I didn't admit to it, but they wanted me to sign the paper saying that I did it, and I refused to. And but I knew I hadn't did the crime. But since when they showed me the evidence actually, and showed me and said it was an accident that they convicted me of it, they still refused to rescind the crime. So I still have the crime on my record right now, and I still suffer as a result of it.
So what organization are you working with to overturn that?
None thus yet, because there is actually no organizations in the state of Washington that has that kind of standard that can meet that particular demand. And the reason being is because, as again I say, not only African Americans, but we're the ones most prone to it. But there are other Americans who did it, Caucasian Americans, Hispanic, and Asian. Hispanic are the second demographic that's most hit hard by these false crimes. And they're charged with it, and they have to do crime, because a lot of people do it because they don't understand the legal system. All right, I graduated paralegal school, and I do understand the legal system. That's one of the things I want to impart to people on how to avoid situations like this and how we can rectify it by judicial reform. That's the only way we're going to be able to do it. But I first have to overturn my case in order to do that.
Exactly. So, are you working independently?
Independently right now, and I've connected with some people here who are going to advise me on how to rectify the matter and how to go about filing the necessary paperwork in order to rectify it. But I also want to be the poster child for this, that it does exist in America, and I'm living, breathing testimony to this, that it exists for African Americans to be charged for crime they didn't even commit and be found guilty of it with no evidence whatsoever, and still the state tries to use intimidation and coercion to make them sign documents saying that they did. And this is a blight on the state of Washington, being in a beautiful state that it is, and the most liberal state that it is, that such a thing could even happen here and it be quietly kept under the radar.
So do you have any support in the judicial system right now?
Not just yet, but I haven't given up on the judicial system, and I know that at some point or another they can possibly have some form of justice done with this, and we come to a meeting of the minds on the end of it. I'm hoping and praying.
That is a really heavy load for one person.
Yes, ma'am.
And I hope that you'll catch the ear of someone out there who can help and support you. Have you thought about going in a public way on public radio?
I have, but I lack the knowledge of certain radio stations like that, especially locally. And I lack the knowledge of the different other such organizations that you can get it like on a widespread, with the exception of Roots. Now, and I found this out since I came to this event today, in which I will be getting with Roots, and we'll be like brainstorming a number of things other than this African American infrastructure, which is a massive plan that we're trying to undergo and implement right now for African Americans across the nation, and not just in Washington alone. And we need to make them aware of that. African American infrastructure is everything: schools, housing, clothing, everything we can provide for ourselves by misappropriated funds of the government of African American taxes that we might can commandeer now, ascertain, hopefully through the government, admittance of this later on.
Just last Thursday, there was a program on local radio. Eddie Rye hosts a public radio program, and they talked on the particular topic that you are talking about. So I would encourage you to get a hold of Eddie Rye.
Eddie Rye?
Eddie Rye, R-Y-E.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I can't think of the numbers on his radio station right now, but I can get that information for you.
Okay.
Because he was encouraging people to come forward and talk about their stories.
Oh, okay.
So I think it might be, an avenue for you to do that. And what we're doing here today too is an archive that will go, as I mentioned, to the Black Heritage Society, and it documents stories like yours. So if you ever need to refer back or refer someone to this conversation, it'll always be there.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
And really just wishing you the best of luck. I just can't say anything more about how difficult I think the road could be for you, but I'm really hoping that maybe then next year you too will come back to us and tell us, something that's happened really positive toward clearing your name. So
I think I will, because I think Washingtonians as a whole do believe in true justice. We do believe in people. Our whole justice system is predicated upon that 10 guilty men be let free rather than one innocent man be found guilty. So I'm hoping that we can live up to that standard in Washington State, and we can come together as a people, and Caucasian, Hispanic, and Asian. Because as I said before, there's just as many Caucasians who have been convicted of false crimes that they didn't commit as there are African American. Only African Americans are on a larger scale. But we need to bring them forth. But I appreciate the opportunity today.
Yeah, thank you, because you've educated me on something. Particularly, I didn't know that in Washington State we didn't have an advocate group that could help and support you on your mission. So I'm curious to find out more about that just with our conversation here today. So
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.